Hi guys, today I have a pretty funny bike hack that I do every time I want to bed in a new freewheel for my bikes. I did a similar video on the Other Trials channel many years ago and I thought that it would be cool to redo it on this channel and explain a bit about the process I followed. First things first, and I decided to upgrade the freewheel of my Street Trials bike with this GT1 that has a ratchet with 180 clicks instead of the 72 clicks that my old one had. Also, it has a pretty sweet sound that reminds me of my competition trials bike. Yes, I do use a standard hub with a screw-on freewheel for my Inspired Arcade, as I mostly ride competition trials, and I don't think that the investment to upgrade to a better cassette hub will make much difference to my riding, apart from the profound weight savings. So I prefer to invest more on new tools and keeping my GT Varial in top-notch condition, but this is my personal opinion and I would like to know more about your rear hub preference and the reasons that make you stick to it. So, having made this clear, let's discuss a bit about the reason that led me to bed in my new freewheel. According to Tarty Bikes, freewheels must be bedded in before trials use to ensure any excess grease used when assembling the freewheel works away from the ratchet mechanism. Also, it is mentioned that you can do this by riding the freewheel around normally for a few hours, both freewheeling and engaging the mechanism gently. Otherwise, it's said that you can speed up the process by thinning the grease down with light oil like WD-40. But I'm an engineer used to do things a bit more efficiently, and also I know for sure that I won't be able to ride gently for a few hours. So it's time to automate the process. The first time I did that was when I upgraded my freewheel of my old Inspired 4Play, and I did that by building a small rig to mount the freewheel. This time I have a small 4-axis CNC machine in my living room, so it's much more easier to bed in the freewheel using it. The one thing I have to do is to make an adapter to keep the freewheel connected to the freewheel remover tool, as this will be the anchoring point to the chuck of the 4th axis on my CNC machine. To do that, I made a quick model using Fusion 360 and then I 3D printed the two parts. Using the 3D printed flanges along with the freewheel remover tool, it's time to assemble everything together and get the freewheel mounted to the 4th axis chuck. Then I use a scrap piece of wood to make sure that the outside ring of the freewheel will be almost stationary while the main body rotates due to the movement of the 4th axis of the CNC machine. I didn't want to fix the outside ring of the freewheel as I wanted to avoid any excessive loss during the bedding in process. Then it was time to program a loop that actually consisted of two moves. One full rotation to the non-engaging direction of the freewheel and a smaller one to ensure that the freewheel engages for a while. After a test run and ensuring that everything is well fixed and running smoothly, it was time to let it bed in for about a day, just to be sure that everything will be well done. At that point, it's needless to say that I would do the same thing in case I was to replace the freewheel of my competition bike. After this bed-in procedure, it was time to mount the freewheel on my real wheel hub, and one very important thing that you should remember every time you mount a new freewheel on your hub or the cranks in case of a competition trials bike is to use anti-seize or grease to prevent the threads from seizing. This will also make the removal of the freewheel easier the next time you want to remove it. Finally, it's time to mount the wheel with the new freewheel to my Inspired Arcade, and my Street Trials bike is again ride ready. That's it for today, and I hope that you like this weird bike hack. But I would like to know, what do you do to bed in your freewheels on your bikes? Do you ride gently as prescribed, or do you find any workarounds to avoid this boring non-trials riding? If you like this video, smash the like button, and also, you already know what to do if you want to get notified of the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Until then, make sure that your bikes are well maintained.